What if hate doesn't always come from being hurt? What if sometimes the hate is already there, planted by ideology, inherited from our environment, or absorbed through fear, and everything else comes afterward? This is one of the more disturbing patterns in human psychology, when people begin to hate before they've been personally wronged, and then backfill the emotional and cognitive reasoning to justify it. We call this structure escalating displacement. It's a dynamic in which hate is the starting point, not anger, not injustice. Hate arrives first, often inherited or adopted from a social environment, media ecosystem, or ideological framework. It doesn't come from a wound, it creates the wound. And from there, it begins to reshape both feeling and perception, producing anger and bias to justify its own existence. The path begins when hate, already in place, seeks emotional reinforcement. Since hate without justification feels unstable, it generates anger. But this anger isn't arising in response to harm, it's reverse-engineered. Events that would otherwise seem neutral or minor are interpreted through the lens of hostility, transformed into insults or provocations. Hate demands fuel, so it finds it or invents it by reframing experience to provoke anger. Once anger is in play, the mind looks for patterns. Who's to blame? What group is responsible? What story can tie this all together? This is where bias forms. But unlike some patterns where bias distorts pre-existing anger, here it comes after the emotional investment has already been made. The bias is constructed on demand, rationalizing the hate and anger already felt. It's not a precondition for hate, it's a consequence of it. This is what makes escalating displacement so dangerous. The logic is reversed but still feels internally coherent. The person experiencing it doesn't realize hate came first. They feel as if their anger and judgments are reactions to reality. The emotional sequence has been displaced, but it still functions, allowing hate to appear morally justified and even virtuous. This pattern is foundational to many forms of radicalization and mass violence, where people are mobilized to act not because they've been harmed, but because they've been conditioned to hate and then taught to reinterpret the world accordingly. To disrupt this process, interventions must focus on the emotional root, the hate itself, before it has a chance to build its supporting logic. That means interrupting exposure to hate-driven narratives early, helping people recognize when they're being emotionally manipulated, and fostering emotional literacy. The ability to ask, where is this feeling coming from, and who might benefit from me feeling it? It also means creating spaces for unlearning, where people can confront the hate they've absorbed and begin to dismantle the scaffolding that was built around it. In escalating displacement, hate constructs its own reality, but that means the right tools can deconstruct it too.